Money is generally a medium of exchange for goods and services. Over the years, money, referred to as cash in financial analysis, has created values in markets and in the hands of users. With the increased rate of innovations globally, towards the end of the 20th century, other means of financial transactions were discovered as banks in the Western world scrutinized and embraced the e-payment concepts.
When banking institutions design a security protocol, they purely make sure, or one of their most important security criteria is to make sure that they have encoded software, encoded keys, in order to protect that software, be it on a magstripe basis, be it on a smart card basis, and the development of that software and its security protocol all happens on the back end of their systems.
The e-payment or electronic payment, as fully described, penetrating other continental banking systems, has now hit a level of demand in Africa. Recently, Nigeria's apex bank, Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN), released the cash policy it says will drive development and modernization of payment system, reduce cost of banking services, and curtail cash-related fraudulent activities. Key elements of the policy states that as an individual, the limit for daily withdrawal or deposit is 150,000 naira. However, corporate entities have a daily limit of 1 million naira withdrawals or deposits. A violation of this limit attracts varying charges. And to reinforce this cashless or cash-light scheme, the CBN commenced the pilot operation of the policy in the commercial city of the nation, Lagos, and slated a time frame of 3 months for the experiment.
It's very obvious to everybody, that the cost of managing cash is high, with its attendance, risks. So the policy, seeks to address, this cost, and of course, the risks associated with carrying cash.
A cashless society, and nobody has truly a cashless society. I think there's a greater emphasis on using credit cards and that type of technology. Point of sale technology is very important, and we're now looking at surveillance at point of sale, where we can match the account that's being used to the image of the person using it. And some banks have facial recognition software where they know who owns the account, and if you do not match that person when you are making a transaction, they can take action to retain a card or call the police or whatever in the event of an attempted fraud. So security around that is increasing, but of course it's reliant on the fact that you need a good communications infrastructure.
The policy further states that during the pilot period between January 1 and March 31, 2012, the charges for contravening the rules will not be implemented. To evaluate the performance of this scheme, Russia Web TV took a survey on the various alternatives that abound in the e-payment system. From the point of sales POS terminals to the check leaves, ATM cards, online transaction, and the contentious mobile money payment systems.
We have the point of sale terminal, which is the most common, where with your card, you can walk into any outlet, okay, and pay with your card. Of course, we have the mobile phone, which is becoming very popular. We have the internet, and then of course people have mentioned ATMs. ATMs, dispense cash, but we also know that through the ATM, banks can offer several other services that are not really cash-based.
In abiding by the new regulations, banks and individual and corporate depositors began to practice the use of the available channels of e-payments.
I think we are the first organization to go cashless. We went cashless even before CBN went cashless. We have been into e-payment for the past 2 years now in customs, and I think it's a very good success story.
Most of our transactions now outside the supermarket have been online. There are at times we pay with check. Like most times, what we do now, like if you come with an invoice that has a registered admin, so we don't pay with the persons there. We would rather pay with the registered admin on the check. So we use the rest so that once you just take it to your bank, it's going to clear.
Of course, we have always been encouraged to not really carry cash around. So you don't want to see me come to church. I want to give my tithe, for example, and then I come to church to give it in cash. It will not happen. It's always in check.
While some people see the benefits in the cash policy,
thinking about it makes a lot of sense. It's something that you would expect in a developed economy, and since Nigeria is already aspiring to become a developed economy, at least, to become a top 20 economy by 2020, it's a step in the right direction.
In the past, you used to have incidences of people traveling from the east, businessmen carrying Ghana must go, hundreds of millions of naira on night buses and cars and vehicles. But the cashless society, has eliminated that, or will eliminate that. And then the banks, the robbers don't have where to go again, but where the cash is kept.
A number of others critique the scheme, saying the country is not ripe enough for any electronic payment system.
Sometimes they will be complaining. You go to the bank, they will say no network. You want to make calls now, they will say no network. Call again, the network busy. All these complaints here and there, they are inherent in the system. All these things need to be rectified before we can talk about cashless society.
We no reach that country, we no honest like this, but even the ones start, they go start and they go tell people understand, make how they go do. Okay, now if I go buy anything now, like they buy something for my hand, like 1 million naira, they say they no go give you. How you go do? The man you no get account, you no go to school, you don't know anything. How you go do?
But the banks seem to have a sigh of relief on cash management by the new policy.
We think that the cashless policy, that is being implemented in Nigeria is a very laudable policy which should be supported by every well-meaning Nigerian.
Critics who hold that the cash policy is too wrong for implementation now in Nigeria maintain that electricity, network failure and appropriate technology are some of the major challenges militating against the success of the CBN's cash policy.
It depends on the speed of the internet.
In terms of infrastructure, it seems, of course, a lot that needs to have been done hasn't yet been done. So really, that remains a big concern for people who have to carry out transactions in large amounts.
Most of them are not using the right devices. Like for you to run a POS point, you need to use a very high-speed fiber optic network. Or if possible, a satellite network should be better, where you don't have fluctuation due to weather or fluctuation due to congestion of the network. And when these things happen, you keep the customers very frustrated.
We want to make actually, these are some of the challenges we're facing. At times the network might fail, at times the customer card might be damaged or something. So, of which we need to remove and go over it again.
We were told that there was a CBN directive, and that is why it becomes difficult for us to access our accounts, as in to see each transaction. So what they do is just that they just accumulate the money after some days. So they just accumulate the money and send to us. So we just assume that okay, maybe when somebody comes to complain, we just assume that is if we have an overbridge, we just assume that the person's money is there. So we now pay, not knowing that there were some people that had gone to their banks to go and complain. So after they are complained, the banks would have reversed the money. So it's as if we are now paying for what they have gotten. So in a nutshell, it's as if they went away with our goods without them paying. So we had to go to Int'l because it is Int'l that is providing the service. So Int'l now said, in case if there is any problem with the service or with the network, that the customers have to go to their banks and lay complaints. So since their money was deducted online, it should be reversed online.
Those who hold a neutral view say more awareness is needed.
I know this cashless policy of a thing is a new idea, and people are yet to see and to realize the importance of the use of POS. There are a lot of challenges being faced by the use of POS due to the previous experience on it. The services on the POS terminals, they are not that effective for now.
How many of our people that have been given proper orientation? The Ministry of Orientation and National Strategy, we have not really seen its work. Many of our market women have not even the so-called, those of us, the educated ones, how many of us have really been tutored about this?
POS machine we're talking about, you have to educate people on how to go about making use of it.
We have seen a whole lot of awareness, okay, amongst our customers. Well, we've done several town hall meetings. Okay, we've organized several town hall meetings. We've engaged several stakeholders. We've also, sent letters, SMS, messages to our customers, just to educate them, to let them know that from March 31, if they have issues, if they bring cash in excess of the limits, they will be penalized. So I would say that, I just said, we've done some work, and if you read the papers of lately, you see that, almost all the banks are advertising, creating the necessary awareness. But just like any new scheme, we believe that most people will start feeling it, or will start taking it more serious. By the time we start charging, by the time they will start seeing the charges.
As businessmen and women appear to be coping with the challenges and the new payments and transaction options, optimists and operators express belief in the new system.
Yes, for Nigeria is ripe. The market is huge. We have a huge unserved market because right now, as we speak, we have over 70 million belonging to the category of the unbanked. These are people that hold on to cash. The volume of cash with these people is enormous. And that's the reason why CBN has not even been able to capture the exact amount that moves in circulation in the informal sector.
We've designed this thing to work well in the Nigerian market, and the basic point is that even though there are limitations, the system is designed to allow for these things to still work well.
Nigeria cannot sit anymore and watch other people take their position. And Nigerians are ready to embrace innovation.
Int'l Limited is an integrated payment and transaction company with the provision of technology platform for government, banks and corporate organizations in the country.
We operate one of the most stable payment networks in Nigeria. Our uptime is the highest in the industry amongst all of the players. We maintain that stable infrastructure, and we support the bank's infrastructure as well to help them maintain a high availability. The communications problem is being dealt with at the level of CBN and the aggregator, the payment aggregator. We are involved in several of the committees that have been looking at discussing the approaches to implementing a stable POS connectivity in the industry, and I think a lot of progress has been made in that regard as well.
Int'l addresses some of the challenges experienced in the POS terminals, ATM machines and online transactions.
I think it's important first of all to understand what the problem is. Okay. Now, what you have described as over debits is probably due to a technical challenge during the transaction processing. I'll just spend a few minutes to try and describe how that works. So when you do a transaction from a POS terminal, it goes to your account to do a debit. Okay. Sometimes it does the debit successfully, but the response doesn't get back to the terminal. Now, the technology that is available in the market today is such that once that scenario occurs, the terminal will automatically reverse that transaction. So that if you wait maybe less than 24 hours, that money will automatically go back into your account. I mean, there's really no need to panic if such a scenario occurs, because the system will automatically reverse the amount. Now, in the unlikely event that the reversal does not happen, there is an automated dispute management system that we put in place that is called Abita. All the card holder needs to do is to basically do a report to your bank, and the bank will log that report into the automated system, and the automatic reversal will be done.
The mobile money payment system is another alternative to cash-based transactions.
Mobile money is all about transfer of money from person to person using the mobile phone. Payment of goods and services also using the same mobile phone. Now we've discovered that in Nigeria, as we speak, we have over 150 million belonging to the unbanked category. I mean, over 150 million as the population of the country. Now you have about 70 million belonging to the unbanked category. Now with about 30 million as people having bank accounts. So, but with mobile money is going to change the way people do business.
Limitations, I would say, in fact, we are designed to bypass limitations that may be obvious in other schemes. For example, with a Paga account, you can send money to anybody. Doesn't matter which bank they're associated with, doesn't matter which telecom network they're associated with, right? As long as the person has a working phone number, they can receive this fund from you and are able to go cash it out as an active agent.
I was the manager of the pioneer mobile banking application in Nigeria. So by experience, I've seen it all. I can tell you that people will use it. It's safe. In fact, it's safer than using the ATM card. The fraud rate, the fraud record we had on Flash Me Cash was never compared to any of the banking solutions.
The mobile money transaction and transaction didn't complete, your money will be returned back, no questions asked.
Recently, stakeholders and operators staged a summit to address some of the issues in mobilizing payments through the use of mobile phones.
I couldn't get a BTB ATM around. I saw a first bank. If I want to use it, I must pay 100 million. That is much. That is an excessive charge. Unfortunately, central bank is still condoning it. Now, the mobile money payments will be driven by, of course, USSD, SMS and all that. But, sir, please look into the costing. Let it be very, very affordable so that it will be used and embraced by all.
Chief, you have a valid point. I think CBN is to look at that closely, COT, the issue of COT. Even the cost of SMS that the bank charge people at the moment. Right. Sometimes it's far higher than what we charge the bank. So these are issues outside this forum. It's left to CBN and all the regulators to look at it closely.
In spite of the level of awareness on the available alternatives to cash-based transactions, the increased demands being made reveals that the regulators still have miles of orientation for depositors to cover. For example, most depositors are concerned about the place of the legal tenders in the cash policy. Will the less cash flow eliminate usual charges of COTs on current accounts at banks? And with more check leaves now in use, will there be a drop in the cost of checkbooks? Perhaps by March 31, these questions will be responded to at the end of the pilot scheme in Lagos.